Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Season 3 of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and pregnancy, an integrative, holistic nutritionist, doctor of natural medicine and training, creator of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L method, an infertility warrior, two-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptoms of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Not to mention, stay pregnant, have a healthy super baby, and easy postpartum. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests, sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you all so much for tuning in and being amazing listeners. So now let's get started on your road to transformation. On today's show, we have Chloe Skerlak. She is a Justisse holistic reproductive health practitioner and certified fertility awareness educator. She has made teaching fertility awareness in group and private programs her profession because she wants women and people with cycles to regain their sexual and reproductive sovereignty and become advocates for their own health and live vibrant, healthy lives. She is also the founder of the Cervix Portrait Party. Yes, taking photos of your cervix is a thing, and is passionate about teaching body literacy to preteens and teens. Chloe also loves salsa dancing, full moon bathing, and putting menstrual blood on her face, which we will talk about here today. So today's show, we're going to be talking all about the fertility awareness method, what it is, and how it can help you get pregnant. We also talk about a wearable device called Temp Drop. So Temp Drop is a way to track your BBT without the uncertainties of human error. Use code PUZZLE for 10% off at checkout. Go to tempdrop.com to redeem yours today. Now let's welcome Chloe to our show. Hey, Chloe, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm super excited to talk to you. So let's dive right into things. Tell us a little more about you and how you started working in women's health and around fertility.
My name is Chloe Skerlak, and I'm a Justisse holistic reproductive health practitioner and certified fertility awareness educator. Woo! So that's a mouthful.
Yes.
To essentially say that I am crazy about the menstrual cycle, and I help people to understand and track their menstrual cycle too. And I got into this work for birth control, and I stay and continue for the body literacy. I needed a hormone-free birth control in my early 20s. This was more than 10 years ago. And discovering, looking for a new birth control was like just asking yourself, how do you like your hormones? Do you like it in a pill, in a shot, in a ring? Yep. And I had estrogen-dependent breast cancer in my family. And I was on hormones. I was on hormonal birth control for less than a year. And I didn't like it. And so I just said, there has to be another way. Mm-hmm. And I finally found the fertility awareness method. And so I started using it myself and understanding my cycle, learning that we're only even capable of getting pregnant 6 days per cycle, mm-hmm. that you could easily pay attention to your signs of fertility, like your cervical mucus, to know when you were fertile and when you weren't. Mm-hmm. And I was in my early 20s. I had these perfect charts it was so easy. I just thought, oh my goodness, more people need to know that this is available.
Yeah.
And so I decided to become an educator. So I enrolled in a 2-year full-time program with the Justisse College International. And that is where my mind was blown, because I was just this person who was so excited about the fact that I could prevent pregnancy without the side effects of hormonal birth control, but with pretty much the same effectiveness. But it was through the college that I discovered that people have painful periods, people have endometriosis or PCOS or PMS, and that you could actually understand your health through your cycle. And so it was one of those educations where I started knowing nothing, and then I graduated like knowing less, because my mind was just blown. And that's when I started to appreciate the cycle for more than just a way that you could, avoid pregnancy. In fact, that's the cherry on the top. Like the fact that you could use this information to avoid pregnancy or achieve pregnancy, depending on your intentions, like that's just the cherry. The ice cream is the fact that you can gain so much information about yourself, your health, and your well-being through understanding your menstrual cycle.
I love that. And they say it's the 5th vital sign, and it really needs to be, addressed in that way. I feel like so many doctors and practitioners really should look more into our menstrual cycles, and it is a 5th vital sign. So I'm so glad we're talking about that today.
Absolutely.
And so I really want to focus today's show on the fertility awareness method. So tell us a little bit more. What is this?
So the fertility awareness method is the method of using your signs of fertility, so cervical mucus, basal body temperature, cervical position, to understand when you're fertile and when you're not, and then to use this information to either avoid or achieve pregnancy.
I love that. And so, you talk a little bit about the difference between the fertility awareness practice and then the actual method. So can you tell us the distinction there?
I talk about this a lot because I'm an educator who's really passionate about teaching teens and preteens about fertility awareness. And so whenever I start, talking about teaching like even 11 and 12-year-olds about their menstrual cycle, people are always like, oh my goodness, you can't be teaching these people birth control, and I have to remind them, like, that's not what I'm doing. Like, I'm not teaching them a method of birth control. I am teaching them body literacy. So as soon as you start, even before you start having a menstrual cycle, like understanding like what is a menstrual cycle, why do we have a period? What is ovulation? How do the changing hormones actually affect us and our every single day? Yeah, we want to know what's going on, even as an 11-year-old, right? 12, I think I've had as young as 7-year-olds in my period positivity workshops. So what I'm doing there is I'm teaching about the fertility awareness as a practice. So when you learn to understand the changes of your cervical mucus, the changes of your basal body temperature, even the changes that you feel, other physical changes, maybe like breast tenderness or other emotional changes, and paying attention to this throughout the cycle, this is a fertility awareness practice. And like I said earlier, you can gain so much information about your health, right? And also about yourself when you're paying attention to this. The method is when you take that information and you apply it to either avoid or achieve pregnancy. Gotcha. So that's the difference.
Gotcha. And I love that you're teaching girls as young as, 7. That is amazing. I wish somebody had taught me when I was in elementary school all about this, because back then what we were taught is don't, if you hold hands with a boy, you can get pregnant. You need to avoid. And then the minute you have a symptom of a period, you need to mask that with a pill. And it's such backwards education. I'm so glad we're, talking about this now, and we have people like you educating in this. So I love that. So tell me about any myths. What are some myths around, the fertility awareness method, and what are some things that you're seeing in your practice?
Oh my goodness, so many. Actually, so many that I created a YouTube video series called 28 Days, 28 Myths. And so you can go to my YouTube channel, and they're 28 myths, and they're all about a minute long, where I just bust different myths about the menstrual cycle, fertility awareness, and the pill. So some of my favorite myths about fertility awareness that I love to debunk is that, number one, it's the rhythm method. Right. So FAM is not the rhythm method. The rhythm method uses predictive information based on past cycles to predict when you'll be fertile, whereas the fertility awareness method is having the ability to identify if I am fertile today or not based on what my body is telling me. So there's no predictiveness in it. We make daily observations, and we use those daily observations to make our decisions in the moment today. That fertility awareness method is ineffective, right? So it can be just as effective as the pill, keeping in mind that using the fertility awareness method means abstaining during your fertile time. And that's where you do get the most effectiveness. However, some people do choose to combine like a barrier method with fertility awareness, in which case you're not actually using the fertility awareness method. You are using a condom. You're relying on the effectiveness of a condom, for example, with the awareness that you're fertile. What's another good one? Oh, that you can't use FAM if you have irregular cycles. Oh, that's my favorite one, because in fact, if you do have irregular cycles, then you should have a fertility awareness practice, because understanding your menstrual cycle is going to actually help you to figure out what is the root cause of these irregular cycles. Which brings me to like another even just myth about menstrual cycles. And it's that the only way to have a regular cycle is to cycle every 28 days, which is totally not true.
No.
Right? You can have a cycle that's, 25 to 36 days, and it can vary up to 10 days in between, and that's totally fine. So when people tell me, I have irregular cycles, and then I actually ask them about their menstrual cycles, often it's not even considered irregular.
Right.
But yeah, I could go on. There's so many. I made a whole video series about this. So if you're interested, definitely go watch.
Yes. And we can link that under this episode, so it's really easy to find. That's amazing. So I want to switch gears and talk about, you host something called Cervix Portrait Parties. What is this?
So like I said at the beginning, I was really excited about fertility awareness and this information for birth control. But after practicing and using the method for 10 years and teaching for 5, it's the body literacy that really excites me. And after doing this for so long, just helping other people get more connected and more in tune and have a greater understanding of their body, including their anatomy. So the Cervix Portrait Party is exactly what it sounds. I take pictures of people's cervixes.
Wow.
But since the pandemic, I've switched it online, which at first I thought was impossible, because you could imagine you have to use a speculum, there's a flashlight, a mirror, and a camera to do all of this. So traditionally in my Cervix Portrait Party, I'd get a bunch of people over to my place, and we would talk about the cervix. We would talk about stories and about the cervix, and I would share anatomy and physiology and how to care for the cervix. And then finally, once we got all comfortable, I would give everyone their own speculum. I would demonstrate how to use a speculum to see your cervix, and along with a hand mirror and a flashlight. And then everyone would get a chance to also see their cervix, which I never get sick of hearing there she is. It's so beautiful. So once everyone's found their cervix, then I would take my camera and I would go and I'd snap photos. But people started sending me photos to my DMs and Instagram. And how did you take this picture? And I used my phone and I took it myself. And after I don't know how many pictures I was sent, I realized, okay, I can do this online.
Right.
So I can, it's going to be trickier. So I called my best friend over. I said, bring your speculum. We're going to practice taking our own photos. And then we did. And now I started to, host the party online, so that it's a little bit tricky. Don't get me wrong. There's some juggling, but many people then are able to take their own photo. And then the beautiful thing is that they learn how to use the speculum and how to do it again in a different time in their cycle, with a partner or with a friend. And I find it a very, very super empowering and a lot of fun to be in a Cervix Portrait Party.
That's amazing. And I find, one of the things I talk about when I talk to my clients about fertility awareness and learning the positioning of their cervixes to say when they're going to be fertile or not. And some people are a little, iffy about doing that, but I think it's so important, because I'm like, it's your body. You should get to know it. You should learn about it, and you should know the position of your cervix so that you can know when it's in the right position to get pregnant or not. So I think that's amazing. That's so helpful. So helpful.
Well, and I should say, because this is a common, I see that this happens often, is that people think that you need to use a speculum to assess the cervix position, but you don't.
Right.
So you just need your finger. Yep. So to assess your cervical position, you just have to insert your longest finger into I like the squatted position, and feel your cervix for the texture, for the openness, and for the position. The speculum is just for fun. And for me, it was like, I have already had this deep relationship and understanding of my cervix through my my fertility awareness practice. I check my mucus every day. I about my cervical position. Doctors and nurses have seen my cervix. Partners have, interacted with my cervix. So it had just dawned on me in a clinic, actually, when I realized I can't believe I had never seen it before.
Right.
So the Cervix Portrait Party is just that extra level. Like, okay, if you want to see it, then call me.
I love it. I love it. And you also talk about the health benefits of your period blood. So you also do something where you use your period blood for your skin. So talk to us about that. How do we do that?
So when you're bleeding, one thing is people think that menstruation is dirty and that it's like a waste product, but it's not, right? Menstrual blood literally has everything that you need for life, right? It's meant, the endometrial lining and the period blood is meant to nurture another human being if you were to have conceived, right? When conception doesn't occur, then the menstrual blood has to be released in order for the whole cycle to start again and allow us to release another egg. So menstrual blood is super powerful and it's something that's not dirty and should actually be, honored. And so I've stopped pouring my menstrual blood down the toilet or into the plumbing years and years and years ago. And now I use my menstrual blood in different ways to, again, just to honor my own body, to complete another cycle, and to, just to love my blood. So I do a lot of things with it. And one of the things I do is I use it as a menstrual mask. Now, most of this is just anecdotal, but if you've ever put your menstrual blood on your face and left it there for, I would say, no longer than 15 minutes and then washed it off, you'll know what I'm talking about. It feels amazing and it looks amazing. And so the menstruation is I believe the largest place you'll find regenerative stem cells in the body. So they do have healing properties, and they're actually using menstrual blood in other science right now, like in treating cardiovascular disease with these stem cells, because they're also really easy to get. They just come out on their own.
Comes right out.
So
amazing.
I don't know if putting it on your face, people say that there's an anti-inflammatory property that, again, because of these stem cells, maybe that has a regenerative effect on your skin. I don't know. Honestly, it just feels great. And I love to post things like this on Instagram because even though I don't expect everyone to be doing that, if they see my photo and they realize, oh, well, if she does that, because menstrual blood is not gross and it's not dirty, then maybe I can feel more comfortable about even just talking about my menstruation, with my partner or with, my friends, or talking about better period products, or feeling comfortable asking questions about my period health, right? Just helping break the taboo that menstruation is gross and dirty. And that's really why I do it.
I love that. And I will have to say your skin looks amazing. So it's working.
Thank you.
Yes.
Try it. If you haven't tried it,
For sure. I love it. So you also talk about moon bathing, and this is something I recommend to my clients, sunbathing, or not sunbathing, but sun gazing, moon bathing. So talk to us about that. What is moon bathing and how can it benefit us in our hormones?
Moon bathing is just getting outside and getting some moonlight onto your skin. You could do it all throughout the moon cycle. So, and some people, I think, especially in Ayurvedic practices, there's different meanings for different parts and different phases of the moon. But for me, I just like a good full moon bathe. And so when it's the full moon out, I like to just spend some time outside. I try to get to a place where there's not a lot of artificial light, and I just go for a walk, often with other friends who also menstruate with me. We'll go together and have a good time and, reflect and share things about one another. And it's a lovely time. Hormonally, light has a very big impact on our hormones because of our pineal gland and melatonin. So it's been said that getting outside and getting moonlight onto you can affect your hormones and your circadian rhythm. I know because of all of the artificial light that's around us now, it's not as influential, which is why it's important to try and get to a place where there's not as much artificial light. But honestly, as far as like being really healthy and helpful for your hormones, even just being outside in nature and going on a walk with a good friend is a beautiful thing that you can do for hormonal health. And I also just really like the awareness. So full moon bathing means that you have to be aware of where the moon is in its phases. And just like a fertility awareness practice is being aware of where you are internally and which season, which phase you are, I just think that it's also a really lovely thing to be able to pay attention to the lunar cycle. And while some people think that we need to like, you know, match up with the moon, so to be bleeding with the new moon and ovulating with the full moon, it's not necessary. Like I wouldn't tell people to strive for something like that. However, I always said that it's something nice to notice. Like if you notice that you're bleeding with the new moon, that might mean something. For example, what is it? If you're bleeding with the new moon, then you are in, I believe I can't remember now off the top of my head. It's a white moon or a red moon cycle, but it means certain things. Like if you are feeling the need to nourish yourself versus nourish your community, versus if you're bleeding with the full moon. So just paying attention to these things, I think is, just another really great body awareness practice for ourselves as well.
For sure. For sure. And we talk a lot too about, excuse me, how if you're not cycling, you can team up with the phases of the moon. And I've seen that bring back a woman's cycle, or if she's in menopause and her cycle has gone, it helps kind of minimize the symptoms of menopause. So there's a lot of really great, powerful things that can happen when you do pay attention to the moon and, you know, you do some moon bathing. So love that.
I thank you so much for reminding me that. I stopped ovulating after a really bad breakup a few years ago, and I felt so lost and unanchored, not having my normal phases. And so I relied on the moon, and I did the things that I would do during menstruation on the new moon. And I did the things that I would do, you know, when I'm in my fertile time and ovulating in the full moon. So thank you so much for reminding that. It's such a great, it's such a great relationship that we can have with the lunar cycle as well.
For sure. So we are going to have to take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors. We're going to come back in and talk practical tips for optimizing our fertility and hormones. So we'll be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching. Whether you're struggling to get pregnant with pesky hormone symptoms, or you're working to build a career in the fertility and women's health space, we have you covered. Visit our website at www.coachkayla.com to learn more on how we can help you. Text the keyword fertility to 615-257-8855 for your free fertility meal plan. Hey, Chloe, welcome back.
Thank you.
So let's talk practical tips. What are maybe your top 5 tips for starting to optimize our fertility and hormones?
Well, as a fertility awareness educator, the first thing I'm going to say is to chart your cycles. So definitely pick a method, whether it's, you know, a symptothermal method or a mucus-only method, or even if it's just paying attention to how you emotionally change throughout the cycle, but pay attention to your cycle and write it down, whether you use paper or an app. An app I recommend is Read Your Body. But number 1, start charting your cycles. Number 2, eat good fats. So our hormones are made from fat and cholesterol. So every day, every meal, make sure that you're getting good fats into your diet, whether this is like nuts and seeds, avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, but get your fats in, your good ones. Number 3 would be to sleep in total darkness. Going back to the effect of light on our cycles, it's really helpful to, when you sleep, to have no light. So especially if you're someone who likes to, you know, watch television or look at your phone, or if you have a window open that street light is shining through, try to minimize as much light exposure as possible. Typically, if you were to wake up in the middle of the night and outstretch your hand, you shouldn't be able to see your hand. So that's how dark we want it. Number 4 would be to find a stress buster.
Yes.
So I know that it's impossible to eliminate stress from our lives. So instead of eliminating it, find something that you like that is a stress buster that you do every day. So for example, that might be mindfulness and meditation. That might be cooking. That might be grounding with your feet. That's one of my favorite things to do in the summertime, is to walk barefoot on the ground. It could be reading. It could be whatever it is for you. Just find that stress buster and prioritize doing that every day. My last one would be to exercise smarter, not harder. So going back to paying attention to your menstrual cycle, really honoring where you are in your cycle and what your body actually needs for movement. Now, movement is really important. Like exercise, of course, is very important for our health and of course for our hormonal health and our fertility, but especially for women and people with cycles, it's easy to overdo it. And our body is constantly assessing our safety, right? And if you are out there on like spin class, spinning every single day of every single, of your cycle, then your body thinks that you're trying to run away from danger and doesn't feel very safe, right? So, for example, a spin or a HIIT class would be really beneficial during your fertile phase when your hormones are kind of primed for that. Whereas, luteal phase might be something that's a little bit softer, like maybe swimming or yoga. And then the menstrual phase is really an invitation just for rest and maybe for like a light walk max. But really, cyclical living is not a prescriptive practice. So it's more of an explorative practice. You have to find out what feels right for you. But I really encourage people to consider how they're moving their body and how they're exercising throughout their cycle and that they're listening to their body. So it's okay if you don't exercise and go to that HIIT class or that spin class every single day. In fact, your hormones will like that much better.
Right. I love that. And we talk about that a lot here with just cycle optimizing our movement and our foods and, really intuitively listening to your body and what it needs in that moment. So I love that you say that. I completely agree. Amazing. So tell us if there's any equipment or anything that might make FAM easier. Like, is there anything that we definitely need to buy or to have on hand to make this practice easy?
No. You really don't. You really don't need anything.
Amazing.
All you need is toilet paper. And I bet that you're probably already using toilet paper. So that's where it starts. It starts by just paying attention to your cervical mucus, which means that you just start consciously wiping. So every time you go to the bathroom, fold your toilet paper into a little square. So make yourself a little cervical mucus canvas. Wipe from front to back. Pay attention to how that felt and what you see. And do the same thing after you go to the bathroom. And every single time you go to the bathroom and you have toilet paper in your hands and your pants are down, do it again. And that's really where you start. Then when you want to start bringing in your basal body temperature, you need a thermometer. And honestly, I use and recommend glass thermometers that you buy just from the local pharmacy or drugstore. Just go get yourself a glass thermometer. It's the gold standard for confirming ovulation and assessing your thyroid health. So that's another myth that I love and I believe is on my YouTube series, is that you need a fancy thermometer to practice FAM. You don't.
Right.
However, there is a fancy wearable thermometer called Temp Drop that I do find is super helpful for people who especially are having trouble with their sleep. They work shift work or they're postpartum or breastfeeding or have a toddler or even a dog that's waking them up throughout the night. So Temp Drop can be really helpful in those situations. You wear it throughout the night. It assesses thousands of temperatures throughout the night. And then using an algorithm helps you to confirm ovulation.
We love Temp Drop too. They're one of our partners and so I'll put a discount for Temp Drop on this episode. So anybody listening can get one of those if they feel they need it, or a glass thermometer works, well as well. Amazing. So tell everybody, first let's bring in the partners. Is there anything our partners can do to really help make FAM successful? Is there anything that they need to be watching for when it comes to their fertility?
Oh, well, I mean, as far as the practice, the fertility awareness practice, again, whether you're trying to use this method to avoid or to achieve pregnancy, it requires a lot of communication with your partner. And so having a partner who's on board and who's excited and willing to have conversations about your fertility, about their fertility and where you are in your cycle, that is a necessary part of practicing fertility awareness for sure. And I actually find that it's something that can nurture that intimacy and communication with your partner or partners. Now, as far as fertility and trying to conceive, of course, I don't know why that women and people with cycles get all of the burden placed on our shoulders. Like if there's ever an issue or if things just don't seem to be going the way they're supposed to be, it's always like our fault.
Right.
Of course, we know it takes two to tango, right? So definitely having your partner also get checked out and have their sperm checked out is important if that's a situation you're experiencing. And anything that you do to improve, anything that we talk about to improve women's health will also be helpful for improving men's fertility and men's health. And just like our fertility is a reflection of our health, their fertility is a reflection of their health as well. And similar to our eggs, which really take 30 days, 90 days, a 3-month race, if you will, sometimes that our eggs take to maturation. It's similar with sperm. So sperm that was created in January won't actually be ejaculated until March. So keep in mind that when you're improving health and improving fertility, whatever you're doing now is really going to come out 3 months from now. And that's both with men and women. So it's just be patient and take some time when you're trying to improve, your fertility and your health.
For sure. And so we do have to wrap up. I could have this conversation all day. It's been so fun, but tell us where we can find you. Where can we learn more about working with you?
Yeah. So I just run off my name. So Chloe Skerlak, CHLOE SKERLAK. You can find me at my website, chloeskerlak.com. There I offer free 30-minute online consultations if you want to chat with me online to talk about FAM or if it's right for you. And my playground is Instagram. So I love to share and I love to spread the good cervical cheer on Instagram. So follow me there at Chloe Skerlak if that excites you as well.
Oh, I love it. And we'll have all that in show notes. So it'll be really easy to find. And before we close, any final thoughts, any words of advice or encouragement you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I just want to say that another myth that fertility awareness gets a lot is that it's too hard to learn. And that's not true at all. You can absolutely learn how to pay attention to your fertility. Trust me, even though it may seem overwhelming at first, it does become like second nature. And definitely if learning by a good book is helpful, then you can get a good book like Taking Charge of Your Fertility. Or if learning through another person and having an educator like myself show you the ropes, then definitely get in touch. There are so many good fertility awareness educators out there now. There's a directory on the Justisse website. There's a directory in the Association of Fertility Awareness Professionals website, and there's a directory on the Read Your Body app. So go find someone that ignites you and excites you about charting. And it's never too late to learn.
I love it. It's amazing. Well, thank you, Chloe, so much for being here. It's been so fun talking to you.
Thank you.
And thank you, ladies, for listening to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L Podcast. Until next time, bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.